Ulonka tabati yada to ye kuma daifa. Ino to ye ko je love vipa. Oba tala, oba takutakun. Songo eshu, ogun oya osun. Kini sheshe, tan she nile yo. Ojelo jara.
Alapia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Arisha Bami, and today we have back on for, I believe, the second or third time, if I'm not mistaken, meditation and yoga master, Baba Yirser Hotep. What's going on, Baba? Peace and blessings to you. How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
I can't complain at all, man. I woke up. I feel like my motto is everything else can be figured out. As long as I wake up and I'm able to breathe, I can make it. I can make the rest happen.
Yeah, well, I do have to say, one of my best friends, he passed away today. He was an elder brother. You know, when I say elder, he wasn't that old, you know, but he was in his 70s. So I guess I make him an elder. You know, with all y'all young people, we are elders. You know, once we get we are old and stuff, you know. But yeah, he went away. He passed over this morning. So I don't feel sad. I just feel like, you know, that's part of the thing. And I'm glad that he was able to exit this physical existence and be able to travel and roam the way that he needs to, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Nah, my condolences, and yeah, it's just crazy because man. I literally just got a call. I'd say not even an hour before we got on. Another one of the priests from Yirser down here in Florida called me and was telling me about something that happened to one of his partners too. Man, it's crazy. Like I literally just got the call, finding out about something like that recently too. So I definitely give my condolences, to his family, to my partner, fellow Yawo Obatala, his partner's family as well. My condolences, and yeah, we're gonna raise them up in spirit here with this good African spirituality experience. With this, I share, we definitely gonna, salute them. Give them a honor and a 21 gun salute, and we're gonna do it on their behalf because it's a lot going on. Baba, as I know, there's a lot of people coming in and out of the world. It seems like we're going out of the world at an alarming rate right now. In regards to all the different madness that's going on. With the fires I just saw over there in Cali, and then all the all the other stuff that's going on. So it's a lot. So I definitely feel like today's conversation is something that's needed for a lot of people to be able to kind of work on ourselves and heal ourselves and manipulate the energy to work for us, versus against us. So that's something I can't wait to get into. I really chop it up with you about this whole practice of meditation and yoga.
Yeah, well, the whole purpose of being able to practice meditation and yoga, especially Kemetic yoga, is for the purpose of healing yourself and keeping yourself in proportion, because there's so much imbalance in the way that people feel about themselves, the way they feel about the world, and the way that they feel about other things, and people are attributing their own ill feelings to things that are external to them instead of trying to mitigate and moderate their own emotions and their own feelings. And so this is what meditation is supposed to empower you to do when you truly practice meditation.
Sure. Yeah. I think one of the things I get the most from people that I hear about, especially people who are new to meditation, is how much of a challenge it is for them to actually get into the meditation. So I think I know you've heard of it, but people call it monkey mind, where your mind is like real busy and it's all over the place, and it's real hard for people to quiet their minds and to kind of get their mind to the point where it's in that deep meditative state to where they can really begin the process of meditation and to start the healings and maybe the astral projections or whatever else may come from that. So with that, Baba, I know you've been doing this for a while. So like, what would you say would be maybe one or two tips that you would give beginners, people who are brand new to meditation, to where they can kind of just figure out some sort of either strategy or some sort of technique to where they can actually tap into that energy self, that Ori, that higher self, in order to kind of really I feel like benefit from all the different aspects of meditation?
Well, first of all, if you're coming into meditation new, you need to have your expectations in a in a proper perspective, because people think that, oh, if my mind is wandering, if different thoughts are coming into my mind, if my body is uncomfortable, then I am not really meditating. And that's not really true. It's the nature of the mind to wander. Like you use that term, monkey mind. That's what your mind does. It's the nature of the mind to think about different things, because your mind is attached to your brain. Your brain is supposed to be thinking, right? And so the fact that you're thinking, the fact that you are still picking up sensations from the environment, that is not a negative. That is just something that you are supposed to be aware of, and you take that into account. Okay. So the fact that you are hearing different thoughts in your mind and experiencing different things, that's part of the process of going into meditation. But people allow themselves to become frustrated and flustered by the fact that that they haven't mastered it the first time that they do it. Now, the technique for becoming proficient in meditation, in yoga, meditation, first of all, meditation and yoga is the same thing. It's not two separate things. Okay. Meditation is yoga. Yoga is meditation. And so for you, when you first begin, the first thing that you have to do is learn to relax. And so the first thing that we do in Kemetic yoga and in Kemetic meditation is to learn how to control our breathing so that we can then activate the relaxation response in our central nervous system, which would then allow the body to relax. Once the body becomes relaxed, then the mind begins to focus. Once the mind begins to focus, then we become aware of what's happening internally within us on a physiological level. Once we become aware of our physiology, then we can actively try to pinpoint certain stress areas of the body and to give them the command to relax, to release tension. We are holding tension in various parts of the body all the time, and we're not aware of it. And so that first step of becoming still, whether you're sitting in a chair or laying down on the floor, or sitting on the floor on a pillow with your legs crossed, however you choose to do it, you have to begin with slow, controlled, deep breathing. In ancient Africa, in Kemet, what we call the breath was called shu, S-H-U. So shu is the breath. And so one of the things that you want to do if you want to master your body and master your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, is to come into agreement with shu, with the breath. And so that's done through slow, controlled breathing. So I'm going to demonstrate, because I know people really want to know technique. So if you're sitting and you sit with if you're sitting in a chair and you're sitting with both your feet flat on the floor and your hands rested upon your thighs and your shoulders relaxed and your back straight, and then you close your eyes and you want to slowly breathe in through your nose. And then you slowly open your mouth and just release the breath gently through your mouth. Now we're going to take in 4 more breaths. So breathe in again. Hold your breath for 1 to 2 seconds. Slowly breathe out through your mouth. Close your mouth. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Open your mouth and slowly breathe out. Slowly breathe in again through your nose. And then open your mouth and then slowly exhale. Now, close your eyes, close your mouth, and just allow yourself to slowly breathe in and then just slowly breathe out through your nose naturally. As you are breathing in, visualize and imagine life force coming into your nostrils. Feel the coolness of the air along the walls of your nostrils as you breathe in. And feel the warmth of the air along the walls of your nostrils as you exhale. So just slowly focus on your breathing. And what you're going to experience as you focus on slow inhalation and slow exhalation is that your heart rate is going to decrease. So your rate that your heart is beating at is going to become slower as you breathe in and then slowly breathe out. You're going to feel the weight of your body sinking downward into your chair or sinking into your mat if you're laying on the floor. You're going to feel the weight of your body releasing downward into the earth. You're going to feel the tension leaving from each area of your body. So you have to do what we call body scan. You place your mind into your facial muscles and you relax the muscles in your forehead, your temples, your jaws and your cheeks. You relax your neck and your shoulders. You move your mind into your left arm. Relax your left arm from the shoulder down to your elbow. Breathe in. As you exhale, relax your left arm from the elbow down to your wrist, and from your wrist into your palm, into your fingers. And then you repeat the same thing on the right side. Breathing in slowly. And as you exhale, relax your right arm from the shoulder to the elbow, from the elbow down to your wrist, from your wrist into your hand, into your palm, into your fingers. And as you do this, you're going to feel increase in your blood flow. You're going to become aware of the actual blood circulation, which is moving through your arms, moving through your hands, moving into your fingers. You're going to feel little tingles of energy as you release that tension from those various muscles. You're going to feel the weight of your body sink downward into the earth with each exhalation of your breath. Then you place your mind into your lower back and you take a slow inhalation, and then you exhale and release tension from your lower back. Release tension from your sit bones, from your buttocks muscles. Let your thigh muscles relax. Let the muscles in your knees, from your knees down to your ankles, relax. Relax your feet. Feel your feet firmly placed against the floor. as the weight of your body goes down towards the earth. Okay. And so you're just focusing on your inhalation and your exhalation. And so this is the first step. We call this the journey to a mentor. Okay. Because a mentor is a place of meditation. Amenta, the land of Amen. Amen means that aspect of reality which is hidden from us, that hidden realm of reality that we can call the subconscious, that we can call the spirit world. So that's what a mentor represents. And then the word ta. So a mentor is two parts. Amen and then ta. Amen means that which is hidden, which is below the surface. And ta means land or place. So it is journey to a mentor. That's what we call this meditation. And so the first step on your journey to a mentor is to control your breath, to release tension from your body. Okay. Then once you have released that tension, then you start to become aware of your thoughts. Okay. So you got to go through a process, a procedure, going from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4 to step 5. It's 5 stages of this meditation. So once you release the tension from your body, then you become aware of your thoughts. And you notice that if you have thoughts of the past, if you have thoughts about the future, if you have thoughts about something that has made you become angry, or thoughts about something that has made you become sad, thoughts about something that has made you become depressed, thoughts about something that has made you to have anxiety, then you breathe in slowly. And as you exhale, you try to release that thought from your being. Each thought that you have is connected to your physical body. So you have to use the physical breath to breathe in and then to exhale and release it from the physical body. So oftentimes we have those types of traumas and stressors stored up in the neck and the shoulders, the abdominal area, the lower back. And so we want to release it. We have them stored up in our clenched jaws and our cheeks. So we want to release those things as we slowly breathe in and slowly exhale. So as you become more relaxed, you're going to notice more feelings related to anxiety, related to stressors, related to things that may be bothersome to your mind. And so once you become aware of those things, you want to let them go. So you let them go through slow inhalation, and then the exhalation is always releasing. The inhalation of the breath is bringing life force and energy to you. The exhalation of the breath is releasing the distress, releasing the trauma, releasing anything that is not serving you. The only thing that you want to hold on to are thoughts and feelings that serve you, that preserve you, that are healing to you. You want to let go of those thoughts of anger. So you may be angry at somebody. You may be disappointed at somebody. You may be angry or disappointed at yourself. You let that go. It doesn't make any sense to hold on to those things. You let them go. And so that's the process that's the beginning process that we deal with. The next stage of our journey to a mentor is that we want to draw energy and move energy and circulate energy. Our physical body is simply like a vehicle that houses the internal spirit aspect of our being, the mental aspect of our being, the metaphysical aspect of our being, the spirit. All is contained within and around the physical body. Okay. And so, just like the physical body has different anatomy and physiology. So we have muscle, we have bone, we have blood vessels, we have organs, we have a nervous system, a digestive system, an eliminative system, and so, an endocrine system, and so on and so forth. Within that physical system of the body, we also have an energy body. We have an energy system that moves through different vessels that are existing on a non-physical level. And so when we breathe, we are not just breathing in air. We are taking in life force. We're taking in energy. So when we use the word Ankh, life, this symbol for life is a representation of this energy. When we use the word Shu, S-H-U, for the breath, for air, it's not just the physical air, but it is the force within the air, which we call this the Shekum, the Sekum. And so that energy, that life force within the air, within the oxygen, within the air, and air is only 20% oxygen actually, but within this fluid that we live in all the time, we are surrounded by a fluid, just like a fish is surrounded by fluid they call water. And then that fish is taking in the water and then extracting the oxygen from the water through the gills and so on and so forth, right? So we are in a fluid field of air, which our ancestors in ancient Kemet called Shu, S-H-U, Shu. And so within there, we have the Ankh, we have the Ankh force, and we also have the Sekum. The Sekum is the life force, it's the energy. And so our bodies contain different vessels that exist on a non-physical level. You cannot see them on an X-ray or MRI. But those vessels are the vessels through which the life force is moving. The Ankh force is moving through us. And it is that movement and that motion of the Ankh force that heals us on a physical level, on a mental level, on a spiritual level. Okay. And so this healing is taking place on all of these multiple levels of our existence. Okay. And so if we are going to practice yoga, if we are going to practice meditation, we must learn the science of breathing. And it is important that we understand the cosmology that our ancestors put into place. The cosmology means the study or the understanding of the nature of the universe. And so that includes the creation story, our concept of creation. And so we call the earth Geb. And the earth is not just the globe or the sphere that we live on. The earth is also representative of a certain quality, that earth-like quality, right? Stability, substance. And there was a process of creation in which Geb, or the earth, was created. And in the beginning, Geb and the sky. Geb representing a male principle, and the sky, who is called Nut, N-U-T, Nut, spelled nut, N-U-T, was the female principle, and they were together in what you might call a sacred copulation. And so the creator created Shu so that Shu could separate Nut from Geb, separate the heavens from the earth. And so Shu is in between the earth at the bottom and the heavens, or the sky, at the top. And so we see this expressed in our ancient Kemetic, our ancient African cosmological stories. Again, cosmology is the study of the nature of the universe, how the universe came into being, and what is the nature and characteristics of the universe. And so this understanding informs our practice of yoga and meditation if we are to do it from an ancient African perspective. Okay? So once we establish all of this, we are working with our breath. We are slowly breathing in and slowly breathing out. Once we are releasing tension from the body, once we are focusing on thought stopping, okay, that's part of your meditative process. Thought stopping. What is the technique by which you stop thinking? So that's called thought stopping. And so you stop thinking by focusing on your breath again. And as you notice different thoughts forming in your mind, you take an inhalation and you exhale. And as you exhale, you release those thoughts. Now, this is not something that's going to happen like automatically or be easy to do. Over a period of time, as you practice, you will see that your thoughts become less, that you can expand the period of time in which you are experiencing these thoughts coming into your mind, coming into your consciousness. You will notice that this period of time expands and becomes longer, so that you can sit and become still for a little bit longer period of time without any thoughts coming into your mind. Now, again, do not get frustrated or feel like you're doing it wrong just because a thought came into your mind. That thoughts are supposed to come into your mind. That's what you're supposed to do, because you have a mind. You're supposed to think with your mind. You have a brain. Your brain is supposed to work and operate. But what we're trying to do is to gain control over those mechanisms that we call the brain, that we call the mind, that we call the thought. Okay? And so we want to gain control over those things so that we can then gain control over ourselves and then be able to create our own realities. Okay? And so the next stage, I know I'm going a long time.
No, keep going. Look, I didn't want you to think I monitor the comments. Keep going.
Okay. So the next stage is that what's important when you're doing Kemetic meditation is that you are drawing your energy. So now you are consciously drawing the energy from the lower chamber, from 3 inches below your navel, right here. This is where your life force, your energy is stored in your body. And so you want to draw, when you breathe in, you're breathing in from here, and you're drawing that energy up your spine. You bring it to the crown of your head, and then you let it migrate to the center of your forehead, right between your eyebrows. This happens every single time that you breathe in. Every single time that you exhale, you project that energy with your mind and with your breath through your arms, through the energy channels that correspond with your arms, your hands, and your fingers, and simultaneously down your legs and into your feet. Okay? And so this methodology is born out when we observe the ancestors, and when we observe the symbols that the ancestors left us, when we observe the images of the so-called Pharaoh, the king of Kemet, we see that he often had a snake that was coming to the middle of his head, dividing his brain into the two hemispheres of the brain that we know that the brain has two hemispheres. The right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. The left brain controls the right side of the body. And we know that this snake came to divided the two hemispheres of the brain and came into the middle of the forehead, which is a place that people call the third eye, but really connects to what we know as the pineal gland, which is a particular gland that's part of the endocrine system of the body that secretes certain types of neurotransmitters or biochemicals that changes your consciousness and helps to open up the door that allows you to have a greater access to the spirit world. Okay. And so when we see those movements and postures that's in the Kemetic record, when we see those movements, when we see those postures and those postures are designed to help to facilitate the movement of this energy, to open up these energy channels, and also to open up the energy circles within the body, the energy centers within the body, and to cause the greater and more efficient motion and movement, motion, and absorption of these different energies that are being created and connected to your breath. And so by doing that, that's how we have the transformative experience that allows us to change who we are and allows us to affect the physical reality around us and to project our consciousness, our thought, so that then when we get to that state and we're moving energy and we're perceiving this life force and energy moving through us, then at the final stage, we create this image of who we want to be, what we want to accomplish, where we are going, understanding what we came into this plane of existence to do. And we project that into the universe so that then that helps to allow us to achieve our goal, achieve our destiny. As you know, from what you do, you know that Africans pay attention when a child is born, even when a child is conceived. Who is this child? Why is this child coming here? Why did this child choose these parents? What is his purpose? And so they want to have all of those things. So they're going to do a reading and they're going to establish those things before that child even gets out of the womb. And then they're going to help to move that child to achieve their destiny. Okay. That's why people shouldn't be complaining about their parents, because you the one chose your parent in the first place. So just get over it and just keep on moving and understand the lesson you were supposed to learn.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, but that's real. That is
so
real. Wow. Now that's deep, Baba. And so I didn't want to interrupt you. I don't know how many questions, but look, I just wanted to let it go so we can. That's a whole lesson we got right there.
Well, I just wanted to put that out there because that is the journey to a mentor. And I'm not trying to be commercial, but you can go to our website and you can order the meditation from the website that would take you through those stages, through those steps. And I'm saying that because I think this is very powerful.
Yes.
Most people do not, like as you were saying, people don't understand meditation. They don't understand yoga. They don't understand the power of meditation. They don't understand the techniques of meditation. Yes. Here is a technique that is based upon ancestral knowledge.
Yeah. No, that's real. And even when you got to the part where you were talking about, the ancient, well, I won't call it the Book of the Dead, the ancient book of our ancestors. When you talked about the realm of Ta, that's somewhere that people that I don't know how many people realize this, but we can actually go to that land. Like you were describing pretty much to me the travel path to that land. And what I'll do is I'll use the same exact metaphor, like when we watched the Black Panther movie, when they gave T'Challa the herb and then he laid down and went to the realm with the ancestors. We can do that in meditation. We do it in the dream world, depending on if you're a dreamer or not. I know I have dreams all the time, about different ancestors or communications in different realms. So it's like we have the ability to do it, but I think a lot of us are I think we restrict ourselves. We restrict who and what we are in regards to our greatness, that we don't give ourselves permission to access who and what we truly are, which is the product of our ancestors. You talk about the power in that. What about the tree of life, and how is that significant to us when we start talking about energy, Baba? We start talking about like dark energy and the energy that comes from like crystals and stones and granite and all that. How does that kind of intertwine with what you're
brother, I don't even deal with all of those things, because to me, the most powerful force that you have is your breath.
Yeah.
So I go to yoga class, I'm teaching yoga class, and people, the people in the class, they putting all kind of crystals around their yoga mat, and they got a crystal here. And I'm not saying crystals are not important and crystals are not powerful.
I got you.
But if you're not properly working your breath, it don't make no difference what kind of crystals you got. The first thing you have to learn is what internally you have. All of that crystalline energy, all of that amethyst and whatever it is already inside of you. The elements of the universe makes up your body. Your body is composed of the same stuff that stars are composed of. We are star matter. We are star energy. Okay? Everything that was the primeval substance, that stuff that was present before the creation of the earth, the stars, and the planets, that stuff that existed, that's what makes us up. So we already are crystals. We are crystalline. Okay? We are light.
Baba, can you share your website? We got someone to try that want to go to the website to check out.
KemeticYogaSkills.com.
And then I'll put it in the show description as well as in the comments, family. I'll go ahead and get that, and I'll put the link for y'all.
But if you Google Kemetic Yoga or Google Yoga Skills, you will find our website.
I got it.
Let me see. I'm trying to type it in. Will it show up if I type it in?
I got it. I'm gonna put it in right now. Yep.
In the chat thing.
Yep.
Oh, it's put in there. Okay, there you go.
Yes, sir.
It's a private chat, so I don't know if it's there.
I put it in there too, so they'll get it. And then what I'll do too is after we do the live stream, like when I put the show description up, I'll put it in the description with your Instagram handle as well, so that people can connect with you and try.
Okay. Yeah, but brother Patah or sister, I can't tell if it's a brother or Willie. I guess that's a brother. Yeah, Patah. Yes, just check out Kemetic Yoga, and you'll see me. Yeah, KemeticYogaSkills.com. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, we got it in there, family. So it's in the chat, and then like I said, I put it in the show descriptions as well for everybody to be able to tap in with Baba Yirser. But no, can you keep going with that Stardust though? Because look, I got my notes pulled up on my laptop home screen as well, and I was looking at how powerful the energy is, and then I was looking at where some, like for example, I'll use Sirius, like the star Sirius. Sirius is a trinary system, right? Sirius A, B, and C, which align with Kemet and the pyramids. But one of the things I think is Sirius B, if I'm not mistaken, Potolo. That star is it's a dwarf star, but I believe it's like maybe an inch, like a thimble full of any type of matter from that star actually weighs more than the entire planet Earth, if I'm not mistaken, because of how dense the energy is, on that star. So when we're talking about us and being energy and being star being created with, star materials or star-like attributes, how deep is that in regards to like meditation? Because I know I've had several times where I've astral projected and I'm shooting through the sky, like feeling like Superman, because it's like at that point I know the body's still here in the room, but my spirit is all over the place. So can you kind of break down what's happening when that happens, or even just the relevance of us being star beings, or children?
Well, the star, when you talk about like a thimble full of the matter that makes up a particular star, stars go through different stages of development. They go through a life stages. And so at each stage of their development, they go through different things. And so some stars become what you call white dwarfs, a white dwarf. And so that means that it's sort of at the final stage of its existence as a star. And so it becomes such a everything condenses so much that, like you said, a thimble full of it would weigh an unimaginable amount of weight. Okay. But long before it gets to that state, there is things that exist in the cosmos, which today we call nebulae. So that's Nebulae, nebulae. And a nebulae is a conglomeration of primeval substance, right? So in the ancient Kemetic story of creation, there is an idea of the waters of Nu. So in one of the versions of the creation story, before anything was formed, before you had any stars or planets or moons or the earth, anything, people, animals, there was just this watery substance. And water, it wasn't really water. Water is used as a metaphor to talk about this idea of a primeval substance, which is inert. Inert means that it doesn't have any activity going on in it. Okay. And so we know that from our ancestral sources that they had this idea that there was something that was there in the beginning that was the fundamental building blocks of everything. Okay. And so when the scientists of today, and I ain't gonna say the white man, because a lot of those scientists is Black people. A lot of those cosmologists is Black people working for NASA and working for, whoever. So you had the Hubble telescope, which was the first telescope that was able to look into the cosmos and see what you would call a nebula. So a nebula is the birthplace of stars. And so that Hubble telescope allowed you to be able to see this primeval dust and gas. Two substances, primeval dust and gas. Our ancestors used the metaphor of water for this primeval substance. In Asia, in South Asia, where other Africans established civilization in India and Cambodia and in the Khepera and all that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That you can read about in the African presence in early Asia. They use another metaphor. They just use the metaphor of milk. Okay, so these are metaphorical terms. They're not talking about real milk or real water.
Right.
So a primeval substance, like you're like in the ocean. Like if you go to the middle of the ocean, for as far as you can see, you don't see anything. It's just that.
Yep.
So let's think about at the point in time when the universe was just this static, undifferentiated state. Okay, that's what this primeval substance is. So we can see examples of this when we peer through different types of telescopes. So the Hubble telescope, that was the first one that could really observe these things in minute detail. And then they replaced the Hubble telescope with one called the James Webb. And so I know, I'm kind of a nerd. So I enjoy this type of stuff, right?
I'm here with you, man. I got all kind of books here on the same. Listen, nerd, we here for it, Baba.
Yeah. So the James Webb telescope is a much more advanced telescope than what the Hubble telescope is, right? And so you can see in even more minute detail about the nature of the matter and the energy that exists in the universe, right? And so this primeval substance, something had to happen to it in order for the process of creation to begin. And so when you look at when you look through these telescopes, you can see stars being formed in these masses of dust and gas. That there is some activity taking place, where you can even see the electrical activity occurring that is causing these stars to form. And so once you form a star, you're going to eventually get planets, you're going to get moons. So the star is a sun. What we call Ra, what we call the sun, is a star. And there is an untold number of stars that exist beyond anybody's ability to count. Quadrillions of stars exist. That's how massive the universe is, beyond our imagination to even put a number on it. Okay? Infinite amount of stars, infinite distance in time and space of the universe. Okay? And so our ancestors conceived of these things. Our ancestors was able to access some of this experience some of this through their meditation, through their yoga practice, and through their rituals with the Afua and other rituals that they did, which allowed them to go into trance and to be able to travel and see other places, other realms of reality. This is what the ancestors did. All of our ancient science is geared towards that. That's why they want you to deny it and call it witchcraft and all that other kind of stuff, because it allows you to access things that would give you real power and be able to harness the powers of the universe to manifest whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. So we have to understand what our cosmology is. What is my origin? Once you understand that you are coming from the stars, then that's telling you what your power is. You have the power of the stars inside of you. So therefore you can create a tremendous amount of something, your life that you want to create, by harnessing this energy which comes from the stars. Okay. And so, you know, the mainstream society, they give you a little bit of hint of these type of things when they make these little anime cartoons and all that stuff, and the, you know, the superheroes and all that stuff, you know, and people putting their rings together, and you know, they give you little pieces and tastes of this stuff in a cartoonish type of way. But you have to study your own mythology and then understand it within the context of modern cosmology and modern quantum physics. So instead of being intimidated by the word physics, we need to embrace that word, because we were the first scientists. We created this thing called physics. Physics is simply understanding the nature of everything.
Yes, sir.
And how does everything work? From quantum physics is understanding the nature of things on a quantum level, which means subatomic.
Metaphysics.
Yeah. So, but all of this is meditation. You know, when you look at the text about meditation that's coming from the people who they call Indians and stuff, and you know, a lot of that stuff is being infused with the Hindu religion and with Buddhism. And see, because Buddha, number one, Buddha was black.
Yep.
And number two, Buddha was an opponent of Hinduism. Okay. Buddha was a revolutionary.
I got me a black Buddha right here.
There he is. I got some Buddhists back here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes,
but we
sir.
have to understand what we're looking at.
Yeah.
So Buddha he rose up and created a philosophy that was in opposition to the degradation that Hinduism had became, or that Hinduism was, because Hinduism was created as a means of control. So even though you may see and hear certain aspects about Hinduism which appear appealing to you, that's because when Buddha came about, he forced the religion of Hinduism to accept certain reforms to it. But he wasn't able to force the reform of the caste system, which put black people at the bottom and put white people at the top. And so that's why when we want to do yoga, we need to understand what is this Indian yoga, what is the strengths and some of the deficiencies of it, and then why do we need to have an African approach, a black approach to our practice of yoga and meditation, a black approach to our practice of all spirituality, all metaphysical science. It needs to come from an African perspective, because number one, we are African, and number two, we created the stuff in the first place.
Yes, sir.
So if I want to know about yoga, I'm not going to go read, you know, even though I've read all those people, right? But I'm not going to go read those people over there. I can go into myself and I could draw out from my ancestors what I need to know about yoga. When I travel to Kemet and I go into temples, I go into different sacred places. When I go along the Hapi River, I get insight. Things come to me that I am being told are practices and ideas and concepts that relate back to ourselves and that are going to be useful to ourselves for our own liberation and our own healing. Okay. And then when I teach those things and people report back to me, oh, I feel this and I feel that. And my ailment went away after I did this practice. My agony, my psychological and spiritual agony went away. My physical ailments went away after I did this practice. That's a confirmation for me. I don't need to go to somebody's book. I don't need to go to somebody's guru and let them confirm to me. You know, it's all in what's happening. So I am fulfilling my purpose. Why did I come here? I didn't come here to be somebody's punk. You know, I ain't come here to be somebody's pawn. No, sir. And they come here to be a liar. You know, so everything is, the proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Yes, sir. Iwakwele. Baba, I got a question from the tribe. Brother Nkosi wants to know, could you explain the difference in what you meant by whether the mind is mental or was it more so spiritual, or which was it both? Which one? I think he was talking about back when we were speaking about like the left and the right hemisphere, if I'm not mistaken. So he was trying
when we talk about the left and the right hemisphere, we talking about the brain. So you have to start with the brain, right? Mm-hmm. So the brain carries out a certain function. So we can't say, well, I'm spiritual, so I don't use my brain. Oftentimes, people are calling themselves spiritual because they're having a particular experience that's been generated by the brain. The brain produces certain types of neurotransmitters, certain types of biochemicals that make you feel a certain way, that makes you think a certain way, that make you believe in a certain way. Sometimes those ways that the brain is shaping your consciousness is not really consistent with reality. Oftentimes, the way that the brain is shaping your awareness and giving you the impression of what your experience is and what your experience means is not consistent with the reality of, you know, of whether or not that is true or not. Okay. Your brain has to interact with your environment in a way which is reliable and valid. Okay. It has to be reliable. That means it has to be truth involved there. That your perception of your reality has to be accurate if you are going to be a person that's a person who is going to be self-actualized. You cannot be fooled by the things that's happening in your brain. So that's the first thing. The first thing you have to do is understand your brain and understand the brain chemistry. So when we talk about brain hemisphere, the right brain controls the left side of your body. The left brain controls the right side of your body. So what our ancestors kind of, what I believe they, something that they came to believe, I believe that, and I think that they came to believe, understand, was that the brain, the right brain, carries out certain functions that are related to logic, mathematics. I'm sorry. The right brain is the creative brain. The right brain. So when you deal with art, when you deal with creative types of activities, that those functions operate on the right brain, from the right brain. The right brain allows you to view the world in a holistic way. So you're more able to see the interconnectedness between things, because you can see that reality is circular, reality is spirals, and it goes in, these different ways. The left brain, which controls the right side of the body, is linear. And so this is your mathematics. This is your logic, and so on and so forth, right? And so we know that the ancestors had some awareness of these things and some acknowledgement of these things from the symbols that we see. If you go and Google the skull of Tutankhamun, his skull, his head was separated from his body when they took his body from his tomb, and they unwrapped his skull. They took the wrapping from his head, and they found something called a diadem, which was underneath the wrappings, that was a ornament that divided his brain. It had the snake spiraling, coming into the cobra head in the middle of the forehead, and it had another piece around, showing the two hemispheres of the brain. So we know that our ancestors had symbols that spoke to these two different aspects. Okay, so our goal in our meditation is not to make the right brain or left brain dominant. Our goal is to create balance between those two aspects of the brain. And so as we create more balance between those two aspects of the brain, we are also creating more balance in terms of our perceptions of our experiences that we have. We are human beings having a human experience. And so we don't want to misidentify the meaning of experience. We don't want our experience to show us, oh, I feel danger or I feel insecurity, when there is not anything to feel danger or insecurity about. So we don't want our experiences to give us misperceptions about the things that we are going through. Okay. So if we are moving towards spirituality, we can't just ignore the physical. We have to understand that there is an interconnection between the physical and the spiritual. So the next thing is understanding that the brain and our systems of our body, our endocrine system, secretes certain types of neurotransmitters. Okay, so we have so a neurotransmitter is a type of chemical that the brain or the body is releasing in response to certain stimulation. Okay. And so when you become stressed, when you become angry or insecure, your adrenal glands, which are located in your kidneys, they secrete adrenaline, which is made up of epinephrine and norepinephrine, which raise your blood sugar, cause your muscles to tense up, increases your heart rate, and so on and so forth. These things happen on an involuntary basis. So therefore, we have to learn how to control our breathing so that we can regulate those involuntary aspects of our reaction. So how can we call ourselves spiritual if we are constantly under the influence of these automatic reactions? Okay. So we want to slow ourselves down so that we can perceive, I am having this reaction. Is this reaction warranted or not? Okay. if somebody come up on me and they want to attack me, I'm going to have an automatic, not reaction, but a response to that.
Listen,
you know,
I've been telling people, man.
So one of my challenges, or one of our challenges as people, is to not allow ourselves to have our buttons pushed, because there are certain people, certain things, certain situations that push our buttons and make us react. And that's part of our challenge as human beings, to gain control over that. And so that's part of our challenge as yoga practitioners, the meditation practitioners, to gain control over. So what I was saying about the brain and the physical world and spirituality is that you there's no shortcut. You can't just read all kind of metaphysical books and then say, oh, I know about You have to have internal practices. You have to sit every day, close your eyes and breathe and practice controlling your thoughts. Number one, become aware of your thoughts. Number two, evaluate your thoughts, evaluate your emotions, and determine if they make any damn sense. We do and say things that make no sense, that do not correspond to any reality that we are faced with. And we make decisions that are against our own self-interest. And I mean, as individuals and as a group of African people who have been oppressed, enslaved, miseducated, misdirected, misinformed, disinformed, and so on and so forth. So on a collective level, we are, suffering from this condition, and also on an individual level. But we have to begin as individuals to heal ourselves and to withdraw ourselves from these conditions. And one of the things we have to stop doing is judging each other all the time, about, you ain't this, you ain't that, you didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. All we do is judge each other instead of let each other be, accept that people are not perfect, and then just keep on moving.
Facts.
So I hope that answered the question, the question about the spirituality. We have to begin by understanding that spirituality and physicality, whatever the word is, the physical world and the spiritual world are all connected together. And we can't, as long as we are within this vehicle that we call our bodies, we cannot ignore the physical. That's why we have to eat right. If you do not eat right, you are not going to have the nutrients that your brain needs to be able to think correctly. So I can look at you and you just look normal, but if you lack in B complex, if you lack in vitamin C that allows your B complex to be absorbed, if you lack in vitamin C that allows your calcium to be absorbed and utilized not only by your bones, but by your nervous system, then when I talk to you, and when we interact, or when you interact with your environment, you're going to be off because your brain is not operating properly. You must have the proper fuel for your body. You must have the proper nutrients for your brain. So when I was a substance abuse therapist, if somebody came to our center for substance abuse, if they was high, if they was drunk or high, we had to send them home because you are not in your right mind to be able to receive therapy. So if you're full of sugar, if your B complex is depleted, if you have these, if your brain is being affected by red dye number 2 or 40 or whatever it is, yellow dye number 3, whatever all these different things are, and you're under the influence of chemicals, you're under the influence of foods that are disguised as foods that are drugs that are disguised as food. You're taking drugs that are disguised as food, then you're going to have a problem. That's why we emphasize 50% of our practice is proper eating. If you're smoking a whole bunch of weed, your B complex in your brain is being destroyed. If you're smoking cigarettes and tobacco, what they call it when you like blunts and all this stuff, you mixing tobacco and some marijuana together,
It's a double
marijuana is a medicine. It's not, I'm gonna smoke weed every day, all day long.
Right.
Type of thing. You use it for a medicinal purpose. And sometimes it's probably better to make some tea out of it than maybe eat it or consume it in a different way than putting it as a smoke into your lungs. So that's something people have to deal with. And also have to understand that the weed, you go to these different places, these depositories, whatever they call them, and you're getting this stuff that is so powerful. This weed now is like you smoke a joint, you smoke a couple of puffs, it's like you took some acid.
Yeah.
That's how strong this stuff is.
Oh, yeah.
So we're doing all these different things. I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing because I'm dealing with people all over the world. Yeah. They're saying that they're saying that, oh, I have to smoke weed before I do yoga.
Some people can't function in life without smoking, Baba. They feel like they got to wake up before they go to work, before they go to school, before they do anything. Some people really, I've seen people like that, where it's like if they don't have it, they don't know how to act. I'm like, God damn, man, you can't. I mean, moderation.
Yeah.
Moderation.
And it's not a criticism of people, right. But it's something because I used to be a big weed smoker between the age of 14 to 21. But when I turned 21, I said, I'm going to stop doing this to this degree. I'm going to stop taking drugs. I'm going to stop drinking. When I turned 21, I changed all of that. Mm-hmm. And that's when I got introduced. But that's when I introduced myself to being a vegan and being a vegetarian and being a health conscious person, because I decided I made a conscious decision. I don't want to die, early. I want to be healthy and functional when I get old, So I had to make a conscious. I said, I need to start now at 21 instead of waiting until I get 50 and 60. This year I'm going to stop being healthy. Then I got 5 more years left. Now I'll be dead, So these are conscious decisions that we have to make. If you leave off the weed and you just sit down, you take deep inhalation and deep exhalation, you can offset the reasons why you were smoking the weed in the first place. But sometimes you have to give yourself a chance for your body to wean itself off of the effects of the cannabis. And I'm not saying cannabis is bad either. I'm just saying that people are dependent upon it too much.
Is the bad part. That's what it is. It's the addiction of it.
Well, it's a dependency.
Yep.
See, when you take heroin, you shoot that into your vein, or you snort it in your nose, you become addicted. When you smoke marijuana, you become dependent. It's a little difference between them, okay? Mm-hmm. And so, and then we make the mistake of saying that in order to be spiritual, that you have to smoke weed because there are certain traditions of people in the world that say smoking weed and the chalice and all kind of stuff. I'm not putting none of that down, right. But I'm just saying that it has to be in balance.
Yes, sir.
You know, I know people who smoke weed from sun up to sundown, to sun up, and from the time they wake up until the time they go to sleep.
Yep.
So their whole mind is being dominated by being under the influence.
Right.
You know, and so whether you call it an addiction or whether you call it dependency, it's the same thing. You're dependent upon something to allow you to function. You know, and so that thing that you're dependent upon is what we call mind altering. You're changing your perception and your interaction with the world that you're living in. So therefore, you're taking a mind altering substance. And so therefore, if I want to alter my consciousness, I'm going to use yoga. I'm going to use my breath. I'm going to use my meditation. If I become angry, which I'm known to become angry, I'm going to counter my anger by breathing. You know, I'm going to counter my disappointment through breathing. I'm going to counter my anxiety through controlled breathing, not through putting this stuff into my lungs and causing the pink tissue of my throat, my lungs, my bronchial passages to become irritated by this burnt matter, you know, by this stuff that turns into ash when it gets into my body. And that clogs up the the little air sacs in my lungs. Why do I want to do that? In response to stress or response to wanting to treat trauma. If I'm going to do that, let me just make an herbal tea. You know, and then without destroying my lung tissue. You're burning something. When you burn something, you know, it's just fundamental understanding of physical science. That's hot. It's a substance. It's smoke. If you was in a fire, the thing that kills you in a fire is smoke inhalation. I'm not going to inhale smoke. At least, you know, I'm not saying never ever. I'm just saying, you know.
No, I get it, but what you're saying, like social media. You know, as you was breaking down mind altering, we were talking about drugs, but I look at social media as a drug because there's a lot of us who are being conditioned and turned into zombies because people are like this 24/7. I see people driving down the street on the highway like this, and it's like, damn, you're gonna risk your life because whatever you're doing on the phone. So it's like there's so many different, you know, dependencies and different, you know, drugs or mind altering situations that we see, you know, as a people right now. And it's like we need to have these kind of conversations, and the tribe is loving it, and they love the information, the downloads that you're giving everybody, answering questions that people said they have for years that, you know, you just answered throughout this conversation. So it's definitely something that's needed, you know. And real quick too, Baba, you also, because I was talking about this earlier, it's something I would love to talk to you about off air as well, but you also host a lot of different retreats too, right? Where you hold retreats where people can get together and learn yoga and, you know, do healing circles and things of that nature as well.
Well, the first thing I do is that I teach. I have online courses where people can become a certified instructor at their own pace. I have instructional videos, instructional audio for meditation and yoga practice. I have downloadable ebooks that you can get. In addition to those things, online virtual products, I do retreats in Jamaica twice a year where a person can come. Now, you don't have to become a yoga instructor, but you can become a yoga instructor if you come to Jamaica to take the course. But when you participate in the retreat, you're going to undergo healing because you're going to be eating natural foods for 10 days. You're going to have fresh coconut water. You're going to be in the sun practicing yoga. You're going to be doing your breathing practices in nature. Okay. So you're going to get this from you're going to get this. And so this is what's going to be, you're going to go through a process of healing. You're going to go through a process of self-evaluation. Okay. You're going to go through a process of learning about yourself. Now, that's in Jamaica. Now we go to Ghana, Egypt, Brazil, and Ethiopia. Those are what we call African-centered tours that allow you to be able to go and learn about the history, the culture, the ecology, and the spirituality of these various locations where African people exist or where they built civilization. Okay. And so those are not yoga retreats, but it does allow us to come together and learn, because doing the physical yoga practice is going to happen at these places. But in Jamaica, we stay in one place. We just do yoga all day. When we go to Ethiopia, Ghana, Egypt, Brazil, we may get up in the morning and do some yoga, but we may go into a natural environment and do some yoga. But we're going to be going from location to location throughout the area, throughout the country, to learn about the history, to see the people, and we're going to be exploring the spiritual science and the spiritual philosophy while we're on that. Okay. And then my daughter, she also does a tour to Nigeria, So my daughter, Iyabo Kia Ranika Atan, who she has a whole nother, Ifa traditional name, which I'm bad. I'm from Chicago. I don't know how to talk that good, So it takes me a while to learn how to even say different words, But my daughter, she also does these tours. And so we're going to be doing these things together in order to introduce people to the Ifa tradition and the things that you deal with, brother. So maybe you all can connect together and do some things, jointly.
I would love to. Look, well, you and with her, and it's funny. I was gonna bring that up. Either before or after the call, but I would love to do that. And we got one of the tribe members that wanted to know what part of Jamaica do you go to when you do your tours in Jamaica?
Well, right now we're going to the Ocho Rios area. Okay. So we go to so if you look at the website, we go to a resort called Viento, and it's near Ocho Rios, and it's right on the ocean actually. And so we practice yoga outside on the sand, not on the sand, but on the grass. And so that's coming up January 22nd to the 31st. And then we repeat that Jamaica experience in July of 2025. And then we go to Egypt in August. Then we go to Ghana the second half of August. And then we repeat the same thing all over again in November. And then we go back to Jamaica. And we're going to Ethiopia. I've done 2 trips to Ethiopia, but this is going to be a new one that we're doing April 19th to the 31st. Okay. So that's going to be that's coming up.
Is that going to be this year of 2025?
Yeah, that's coming up. Yeah, April 2025. And then Brazil, that's my sister Ana Luzia in Brazil is saying up there. You know, we have a very, very strong contingent of Kemetic yoga practitioners and teachers in Brazil.
Listen.
I would say Brazil is the hotbed for Kemetic yoga. So Ana Luzia, whose name is there on the screen, I don't know if everybody can see that or not, but she is one of our main teachers down in Brazil. And so we have teachers who are so good at teaching Kemetic yoga that I have authorized them to train other people to become Kemetic yoga instructors. So right now we have about 60 or 70 certified instructors in Brazil. And as you know, Brazil has the highest African population of any place in the world outside of Africa. So it's about 100 million Black people live in Brazil. Some of them was there already, and many of them was taken from Africa, you know, but there was an African presence in the Western Hemisphere, you know, prior to these crackers coming and stealing people.
Baba, you got some strong connections too, because if I'm not mistaken, you had a workshop not too long ago with Queen Afua as well too, right? Like last year sometime?
Every year, every July, the second weekend of July in Chicago, we do what we call Soul Yoga Fest.
That's what's up.
So at Soul Yoga Fest, we have an awards dinner, and we bring in you know, maybe a well-known or maybe not so well-known person or group of people that we give awards to.
Gotcha. And
so this year we decided that we wanted to give an award to Queen Afua for lifetime contributions to the wellness and spiritual development of our community and so on and so forth. Yes. So we had Queen Afua. She did a workshop here in Chicago at Fuller Park Fieldhouse. In fact, my friend who passed away today at 6:30 this morning, he is the brother who was the director of the Fuller Park Fieldhouse. In Chicago, we have different communities are divided by the park district into field houses. So we have these really big facilities, right? They got parks and gyms and auditoriums and stuff. And so this brother, he's worked with me for about 15 years to put on Soul Yoga Fest, right? And so this year we had Queen Afua. And so we have honored Runoko Rashidi in the past. Just a whole bunch of people, some people who you know of and some people who you may never have heard of. Because one of the things that irks me is that people who have made tremendous contributions to our community, they often go unheralded and unknown.
Or unsupported. We gotta do better with our people, man, for real. We gotta do better with that.
And so I want to honor people before they die. That's why I have Soul Yoga Fest. So my friend that passed away, his name is Michael Brown. When he went to Kemet with me, we renamed him Khufu Mentu Hotep, you know. And all of that was for a reason, because the energy that he was working with was Khufu Mentu Hotep, you know. And so so at any rate, I mean, when we go to Ghana, when we go to Kemet, when we go to Brazil, we don't just be going there and be tourists and stuff. We have mystical experiences in these places, and being able to understand yoga and meditation and energy work in conjunction with these things is, it's off the chain. That's all I can say. To me, it's off the chain, And so you can go to these places and you can learn about just like, in this dynasty, this happened, in that dynasty, this happened, and white people came and invaded and then they messed up our stuff. Or you can go and learn those things in addition to learning what is the spiritual science, what is the spiritual significance, what is the metaphysical meaning of these symbols. That's what we focus on. We say, look at this right here. That's yoga.
Yes.
Nobody else is going to tell you that these different images that you're seeing are either representations of the symbology of yoga, or are movements and postures of yoga. But that's what we try to, we identify these things. I can show you Tai Chi practices on the temple of Heru at Edfu. You know, there's Tai Chi. There's a brother doing the Tai Chi movement. You know, on the walls of that temple. This image is not in no book, and none of this other stuff. And some of these people that you see on the History Channel, they take an image from that temple and they say, "Oh, the ancient Egyptians had some Wi-Fi." You know, and I'm like, dude, that ain't not Wi-Fi. Just because it's shaped like this don't mean that it's Wi-Fi. You know, where's the satellites? In order to have Wi-Fi, you have to have, there's 12 satellites that circulate around the earth. You got to have towers. You got to have, you know, hard drives, and you know, you got to have a whole infrastructure. They ain't had no Wi-Fi. If they wanted to, if people was communicating on a non-physical level, they was doing it with their mind. They wasn't using no, you know, no cell phone. You know, because
I was about to say when you got that melanin, that's like we got Bluetooth connectivity, you know, to the universe. So it's like we can do that naturally because of the melanin and that black dot that we have, you know, and like you said, with the mind's eye and the pituitary gland and all that good stuff. So we got the
brother, everything, every cell in your body communicates with each other. You got billions, if not, I don't know how many. You got a whole bunch of cells in your body, right? Billions of them. And they communicate with each other from the head to the toe using RF, radio frequency. Everything in your body is coordinated.
Yes, sir.
And so if you think about the principle of as above, so below, if you can see this level of communication happening and level of organization happening on a cellular level, then think about individuals living in the world, how they are communicating with each other, whether they're conscious or not, using non-physical means of communication. Okay? So even when I went to see my friend Michael Brown, I went to see him on Sunday. Today is Wednesday. When I was there, I held his hand, and I thought that he was going to make his transition while I was there holding his hand. I held his hand, he calmed down, and then he just went into a deep relaxation. He closed his eyes, and I felt like he was going to move on to the next stage, because I wanted to be there, you know, just to have, he can have a human contact. Right. But then he popped back, you know, he came back into this, you know, into this stuff, you know, where we are now. Yeah. But I knew he only had a day or two. So by Wednesday, from that Sunday to today, Wednesday, you know, he took his last breath at 6:30 a.m. Central Time today, you know, January 8th. And when he did that, I could feel it in my room.
I believe it.
I felt it, you know. And so people, you know, these are natural things that we do that occur within us, that we have the ability to feel and to perceive, that the Western, it's not even Western science, it's a Western deception try to tell us that it's not real. You know, that, oh, you just imagined that. That was just something, you know, some things you do imagine, some things you just be tripping. I have people telling me I had a download about this and that. I said, you wouldn't have a download, you just thought about it. So you have to be able to differentiate when you just tripping, when you just thinking about something, and when you actually having a spiritual experience, you know. And so those things come from the fact that you have trained yourself and honed your instrument. This body is your instrument. So you have to hone it. Just like if you're talking to your microphone, you can't have slop and stuff on. You got to keep it clean. You got to keep it well, well maintained in order for it to do what it's supposed to do.
That's real.
And so your body and your mind and your spirit has to be well maintained to do what they are expected to do.
Facts. Yeah, no, that's real. It's deep too. Because what you saying that, it just, I don't know, I think about it all the time. But when I was in Nigeria in March, going through my E5 ceremony, I just remember like the storms that came, and I could feel the energy of Oya, and it was like they don't even have storms that time of the year normally, but it was something within the realm of spirit, and you could see it. Like they were powerful storms. I mean, very powerful. But I felt it like more than anything. I remember one time I was in a trance for like maybe 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, where I just felt as if I was connected, like in a unison connectivity, or connected to the universe, like to the planet and to Mother Earth. And it was like there was no difference, almost like Siamese twins. So it was like I went from being myself in the physical body to just attaching and connecting, with the planet and with nature, like the natures. And it was powerful. I'll never forget that experience, because I've never felt anything like that before or after, since that happened. But it also reminds me of that now that I think about it, the first or the last call that we had, when you told me you went to the temple with the sarcophagus, I think it was somewhere you was at where it's very like exclusive, and it's normally under
I was in the Merkut, the pyramid of Khufu.
I remember
what they call the Great Pyramid, and I was in the
yes.
Neb Ankh. That's what they call the sarcophagus.
Yes.
So I went there. This was years ago, and I went there at a time when I was able to get into this piece, get into there without anybody disrupting me. And I was able to observe and experience a lot of different things, right? Now, when I go to Brazil, my Brazilian friends, they take me to places way out in the country. They say, this is where Yemaya lives, So they'll take me to a lake or a body of water. Yemaya is here, and this is what they're, even though they in Brazil, but the spirituality has continued on with them. When I have gone out in the wilderness in Sedona, Arizona before, I've gone to places that were just out in the country, out in the wilderness. And I would stop before I would enter into certain little areas, because I could tell that there was a spiritual presence there that I had to ask permission to go into this space, because this space was being occupied by something that was existing on a non-physical level, something that was existing on a spiritual level. And I couldn't just barge into there and then just thought, I'm going to come here and do what I want to do. I had to ask for permission, and then I had to wait until I knew that permission was given to me. And then when I got there, I was given instructions on things that I was supposed to do while I was there, And so these things are real, So, I'm not going to be somebody who teaches yoga and just talk about up dog, down dog, warrior 1, 2, and 3, and all that kind of stuff, and just doing yoga from a physical perspective. Yoga is supposed to be a tool that allows you to actually access the non-physical reality, the spirit world. All African spiritual science is constructed for that purpose. Whether you're doing the yoga, the meditation, whether you're doing Ifa, whatever it is that you call it, it's all connected. When you play the drums, you are having a transcendent experience. When you dance, you are having a transcendent experience. When you do the different rituals and stuff, you are having a transcendent experience. For me, I connect with yoga. more so than anything, right? So that's my thing. But if the rituals or the drumming or the dance, everybody is here to do something. So this is what I do. I do Kemetic yoga.
That's what's up. Nah, it's funny that you say that. We got another big call coming, I think, in a couple of weeks, where we're going to be talking about exactly what you just said about the connection between the Yorubas, between Ifa, between the natures of Kemet. You know what I mean? We're going to go all throughout Africa, but then also tie it into, you know, how we are all connected even here in the diaspora. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's right in alignment with everything that you just shared tonight, because you know, I look at it like it's all the same science, all sacred spiritual systems, but it's just depending on what part of the continent that it originated at. You know what I mean? And then it kind of morphed into, you know, taking on a different name and, you know, personification of the deities. But at the same time, it's still the same exact, you know, I would say from the astronomical or astrological, you know, from the heavens, it's definitely the same exact principles that, you know, we're kind of using and working with. That's why we all have access to doing it. But yeah, this has been powerful, Bubba. I definitely appreciate it, man. I really do. Like, it was a powerful conversation for sure. And it's like it's spot on, because that's what we're going to get deeper into that tomorrow. But hell, I think I could just put this on and play this during the during the private call, because we definitely yeah, you put on a master's class today. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know, man, this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna say, if you wanted to share, you know, anything else in regards to like any of the upcoming events or workshops or anything that you have going on. And I put your website in the comments, but I'm gonna put it in the show description as well with your social media handles as well, so that people can connect with you as well.
Okay. Well, again, we're doing Jamaica coming up pretty soon. And we still have openings for Jamaica, which is going to be January 22nd to January 31st. And we do offer special discounts. So if you are interested in doing that, then you know, just contact me. You know, you can put my phone number, 773-396-6613. People can call me, they can email me, text me, whatever they want to do, you know, and then we can talk about, you know, discounts if they need a discount, because I'm just trying to get people to come, you know, and take advantage of what we got to offer. And I'm just looking for one little thing on my phone. Excuse me.
No problem. I went ahead and put the website back up there too for the family if they want.
Okay. I just was trying to find. I didn't want to mess up my own daughter's name, so she is the Iyabo on Facebook. She says she's not checking Facebook too much right now, but Iyabo Ifa Fool Me La Lola Faluade. Okay. So that's her on Facebook. And so she's down in Atlanta. Her and my son-in-law, they have their temple there and they're doing their thing. So I know you mentioned that some of the people that you're connected with knew of her and her husband down there. So, you know, it's all part of it. All of this stuff is connected with the yoga, you know, Kemetic yoga, all forms of African spirituality. You know, it's all connected together. You know, we have people in South Africa who are becoming Sangoma. You know, we have people in Ghana. We have people in Nigeria. We have people all over the planet. We got the our sisters and brothers in Brazil, in Cuba. You know, Cuba. When I went there, you know, they were just really. I was surprised they even knew who I was, but they were just really excited for me to come there, and because they could see the connection between the the traditional African practices that they had and Kemetic yoga.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so it's a lot of stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
So again, and so we got events going on in Brazil. I'm trying to get people to come to Brazil in August. So all of that stuff is on our website. And you know, so just come and check it out. And you know, and also look at our online course. If you can't travel, you can take our online course if you want to become an instructor, or if you just want to learn Kemetic yoga for your own healing and for your own, you know, self-development, you know, then that's there too.
Yes, sir. No, that's what's up. And we definitely have to do it again, about shoot, whenever you got anything going on, you know, I welcome you with open arms, you know, to come in and have these types of conversations and to promote whatever you have going on, because it's definitely needed. And like I said, just the response that we got today, I'm glad we decided to do the live stream, because this is why I like doing the live streams, because we can get the actual interaction, you know, with a lot of the tribes who are available at that time. And of course, people will come back and watch the replays later as well. But the fact that giving people the access of being able to, you know, ask questions and to listen firsthand, you know, during the live stream, I felt like it definitely would be something that would be impactful, and it was exactly what, you know, what we thought it would be. So I definitely appreciate you for sharing, you know, all your words of wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding, overstanding, understanding, and understanding. And we definitely appreciate it. It's been a powerful conversation for sure.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't say this, but we have communities where you could join the community. You can go to the website. You can sign up for the community, sign up for the newsletter. You can join different things that we have going on, and stay informed. You can become an affiliate of Kemetic Yoga Skills, which will allow you to get discounts and even get a commission when you refer people, you know, to things that we're doing. And you know, I'm always looking for partnerships with people who want to, you know, join us on our trips, on our tours and stuff like that. You know, so
you look at that one.
We're always working with people. Yeah.
No, I say I want to be a part of that too. Where do I sign up? I definitely would love to be, you know, some sort of partnership. Like I said, anything I could do to be a part of it, I definitely appreciate it. You know.
Well, just talk to me, brother. You know, we'll talk, and then you know, I'll give you more details about it. You know, I give you the special 911 on it.
I take it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna sing it like Wyclef. That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
No, I appreciate it, Baba, and even the fact that, you know, you showed up and showed out for us, even with the you know, the transition of your friend, and we got some of the tribe members giving love and condolences and shout outs as well. You know, just kind of keeping you and his family, you know, in our prayers for sure. And we definitely appreciate, you know, you still coming in and doing what you did, man. You made a hell of an impact with this show, and I look forward to doing it again. I really do.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you, you know, the work that you're doing, and I watch your other interviews too, you know, so I'm always trying to stay up and, you know, see all the different, you know, prescient brothers and, you know, and sisters that you have on your program, you know, and yeah, the work that you're doing is you know, it's needed. I just, you know, to say the least, you know.
I appreciate it. Look, I give all praise and thanks to the ancestors, man. I just try to be obedient and listen to that small, still voice, the community little whispers that be coming through the ear or through wherever it come from. I just try to be, you know, obedient and do what I'm glad to do, man. And it's an honor and a pleasure, you know, and even just to have a conversation with you and everybody that's been on here. Like, to me, it's just like I just give thanks for the opportunity, because I'm learning just as much as everybody else who's listening, and I give thanks for that. I'm grateful for it. So even today's conversation, like I like to watch the replays so I can really pay attention, you know, to everything that's being talked about, because it's hard to really be tuned in fully, you know, on here. But when I watch it back, that's when I think I can appreciate it more, because there's so much knowledge and wisdom, you know, that y'all share. So I definitely give thanks. And the tribe is showing love too, man. They're definitely giving thanks too.
Yeah, well, I hope people just look at the practice and just do the practice.
Yes.
Because that's the key to everything. You know, that's the key to everything. You know, is that you have to do your practice. You know, and so
yes, sir.
yes,
I appreciate it. Yeah, I just wanted to share all the love, man. They still showing love. I wanted to make sure I shared that too before we get off. We definitely appreciate y'all, family, for sure. We definitely as always, I appreciate the love, support, you know, and everything that you all do with the comments, the feedback, suggestions, everything that y'all do. I appreciate it, you know, tremendously. Shout out to Baba Ifa Carriday, because he's a big Tai Chi guy. He's our community elder, be holding us down, man. I'll say quite a few times when I reach out to him, he's in the middle of doing Tai Chi. So it's like we definitely got, you know, a lot in common with the practices of Ifa and the Kemetic, you know, the natures and our sciences. And it's something I can't wait to go deeper into, bringing, you know, that connection so we can all see just how connected we really are.
Yeah. Well, whatever yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong. See, I've seen all of those things in Africa. I've seen acupressure, acupuncture, cupping, all of that stuff is in Africa. So it's all connected to traditional African spiritual science. African spiritual science is not just one thing. We did everything. Everything that exists, we did it. It comes from us. Even stuff that came out of different regions of the world, we was the ones in that part of the world who was creating it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sometimes the stuff that we created get distorted by the other people that come in later.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, so they come and they mess up our stuff and distort it.
Yeah.
You know, you can talk about religion, Christianity, Islam, all that stuff. All that stuff come from us.
Yes, sir.
Judaism, you know, all that come from us. You know, in yoga in India, all that stuff comes from us.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, so if we really want to become who we are supposed to be, we have to go back to the source to understand ourselves, not try to understand all of these people. I got all these books back here, but my main study is coming from in here.
Yes, sir.
You know, these books are just for reference.
Yep.
But I'm not reading these books because I want to know this and know that and all that kind of. I just want to know, they just reference points. But my internal study is what the essence is.
Sure. Yeah, they steal all our stuff and sell it back. That's facts. And shout out to the work of well, so much work, but one of them that is like, to me, the personification of exactly what she just said is George G.M. James with the Stolen Legacy, the book Stolen Legacy.
Yes.
But I mean, we got a lot of work that talks about it, but yeah, that's what it is. But that's why we're here, so that way we can kind of, you know, shed light on the truth, you know, and make sure that we're talking and teaching and sharing and empowering the tribe, you know, the way that it's supposed to be, for us, by us.
Yeah, well, you got Stolen Legacy. This books people need to be reading. Stolen Legacy, I forget the exact name, but the African get the African Presence in Early Asia. Get that book. Okay. Me and you know, I'm another tour I'm going to do that I'm trying to put together is one to go to Southeast Asia, to Cambodia and Thailand, because those people was black. Those temples that was built there, they got pyramids and stuff there that was built by black people who were the early Asians.
Yeah.
Just like you had black people in Central and South America who were the who they call the Olmecs and so on and so forth, right? These were African people. And so so the African presence in early Asia, they came before Columbus.
Dang.
You know, Ancient Future by Wayne B. Chandler. You know, the African Unconscious and Dark Light Consciousness. So those are two books that people need to read. Dark Light Consciousness is very available. It's more available than African Unconscious. But Dark Light Consciousness by Edward Bruce Bynum. Edward Bruce Bynum. You know, so it's, you know, it's a lot of stuff on YouTube and stuff like that. But you got to get the real scholars. You got to read Sheikh Anta Diop, The African Origins of Civilization, Fact or Myth or Fact, or whatever the title, the exact title is. Sheikh Anta Diop.
Civilizations Before Barbarism. He got
Civilization Before Barbarism. Yeah. And then the books by John, if you want to read about the religion, The African Origin of Religion, John G. Jackson. You know, there's so many different books and stuff out there.
Yes, sir.
You know, just get a fun. If you got kids, let your kids read The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams.
Yes, sir.
You got books by Charles Finch that people don't know a lot about. Dr. Charles Finch.
Yes, sir. And you know what? That's something that I got to do. I've been saying it for a while now, but I'm gonna definitely start working on putting some book lists together as well to share with the tribe, because I got a nice share of books, and I definitely have a lot of recommendations. So I'm gonna start trying to work on. And Coach said Anthony Browder. I got some of his work too. That's another one who's
Anthony Browder. And you know, people correctly criticize me because I haven't published any books, but I do have books on our. You know, when you become a Kemetic Yoga instructor, you get 2 180-page books that I've written. Those are your training manuals. You know, I originally wrote the training manual for as a book, but the publisher went out of business, and you know, so it wound up becoming my training manual, and so it goes to the people that, you know, sign up to become instructors. So that's what I use it for. But I got books, and I've been published. I've had chapters published in different other books and stuff. I don't remember the name of them, but you know, I've been published and stuff before. But I am working on an actual all kind of different books. I got all kind of books that's coming.
That's what's up. Now I look forward to it, man. And look, when those get ready to come out, hey, we'll have you right back here promoting things too, for sure. Definitely put them on the channel, or you know, whatever we can do to support. I'm all for it, man. Like I said, because that's the least I can do. You know, for you taking the time to stop by and share as much knowledge and wisdom as you have. And we definitely, we got a treat tonight, man. We definitely did, for sure.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate everything. So,
no problem.
You know,
they still tribing out there. Yeah, I definitely appreciate you. And you know, I'll reach out. I'll be in touch soon, because I know you got the trip coming up soon. But I'll definitely be in touch. You know, try to put something else together with you. And I can't wait to, you know, see what we can do. I'm looking forward to, hopefully being a part of some of the tours that you have coming up in the future. I know the one you said is the one. The next one in July, is that? I mean, Chicago. Is that in July? You said.
Chicago, I think it's the second week. It's the second Friday and Saturday of July. That's when we have Soul Yoga Fest.
Yeah, I might try to see
so
that one.
It's a free outdoor yoga festival. And so I don't know, I'm celebrating it as my 50th year anniversary of doing Kemetic Yoga.
That's what's
okay.
up.
And so I don't know if I'm gonna have anybody. I think I'm gonna feature myself.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's the keynote of everything, because it's 50 years. So
that's right.
I think I'm gonna feature myself for doing this for 50 years. You know, because like I said, you know, people don't really recognize you, or they, you know, we don't recognize each other. We don't honor each other. So sometimes we have to promote ourselves, because nobody else is going to, you know. I even see people making videos on YouTube talking about Kemetic yoga ain't nothing and all kind of stuff, you know. And I'd be like, come on, man, go talk about some white folks about what they doing to us. I'm talking about, you know, people who doing Kemetic yoga.
Yeah, that part.
You know, we ain't hurting nobody.
That part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff is silly.
Just like Malcolm said, who taught you to hate yourself? You know, because I deal with it on the channel too. They come with the BS, but we shut them down real quick.
Yeah, you got all these, you know, you got this group of spiritual people over here. They against that group of spiritual people over there, and it's like, come on, man, you know, find out who the real enemy is. You know, that's why when I had the Soul Yoga Fest, I had Queen Afua, I had Ankh Aku, and I had Sister Kajara. You know, because we all do something similar. Right. And I don't think it should be no separation and none of this stuff, you know, because people exaggerate, you know, some of the little differences instead of saying, well, these are the similarities. We all are working towards the liberation of African people. Thanks. So let's just focus on that instead of focus on, you know, this thing and that thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's real. Yeah, no, that's real. We definitely got to do that. And, you know, that's why I give thanks for this channel and, you know, all the people that come through here and show love, man, because that's what it is. It's united we stand, divided we fall. And, you know, it ain't over till we win, but it's going to take all of us, you know, to get there to win. So that's something that we're going to make sure that we make, you know, we're going to make it do what it do, you know, as long as I can, you know, just from my little corner of the universe, man, we're going to definitely make it happen for sure.
Yeah. But, you know, everybody got to do their part. Everybody got to do their thing. So that's what we're doing, you know, and, you know, this planet is, you know, sometimes it looks kind of dark, but, you know, when I reflect back in the day, I remember way back in the day, I was listening to, you know, I don't know if you know who Gil Scott Heron is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, Gil Scott. Okay. So I listened to Gil Scott when I was young. And even though he was, you know, he was talking about winter in America. I mean, we got winter in America again, you know, and sometimes we be talking about winter like it's winter in America when it's not even winter. It's like, y'all need to see what's happening. You about to make winter come, you know, but, you know, that music is sort of helped me to stay here and not fall into depression and, you know, get disenchanted to the degree where I was self-destructive, you know. And so, but that's what a lot of people do. They becoming self-destructive, you know. And so, but you know, but we're living in a time that's going to be happening that people have misread. And they thinking that, oh, you know, it's not going to be this, it's not going to be that. I've heard people celebrate. Oh yeah, we're going to get $1.99 gas and all kind of stuff. No, you're not. You know, you're not. You know, this is not the function of these of what's happening. You know, so you know we don't have. You know, one of the things that we, you know, there was a book that was written in 68 or 67, 66, something like that, called The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual by Harold Cruz. And so what Harold Cruz was talking about way back in the 60s was that we don't have a political analysis that's guiding us into understanding what's going on. So we misread all these different things. We go to all these different, you know, ideologies and philosophies and social constructs, but we don't have a guiding principle that informs us, it allows us to understand when we see the reality and the phenomenon that's going on, we don't have a way of assessing anything. So we misassess things. We do things which are against our own best interests because, you know, we're misperceiving because we don't have no, it's like if you're driving down the highway and you don't have no lanes and you don't have no you know, no lights, you don't have nothing, you just driving crazy, you know, and that's what we're doing. And then whoever tells us something, we believe it. Because you know, they got a slick video, they saying this or saying that. So we believe almost anything. You know, we believe that our ancestors came from you know, that our civilization was built by people from another planet. We believe that, you know, somebody tell us, you know, that the temple, the pyramids is over there on a whole nother continent instead of where we can go and look at them and look and see them. You know, it's like we just believe anything. Like just like what Malcolm was talking about, the okie doke.
Yes.
So we need to have a guidepost. We need to have a roadmap that's going to take us to where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't, you know, we distrust we distrust some of these elders is crazy too. You know, I've been listening to some, I said, what the hell wrong with you? You know, I'm listening to this old dude talking about, yeah, I'm a MAGA, I'm a Trump. Listen to the dude who was down in North Carolina talking about he was a black Nazi. You know, some of these people is crazy.
You know what? I agree. I think some of those are paid actors, man. I hope they're paid actors. If they're not paid actors, then maybe, you know, hopefully, I ain't gonna hope somebody's on drugs, but hopefully drugs had some sort of negative influence on them.
Man, that dude in North Carolina, he was, for people who don't know, he was running for governor. He's a lieutenant governor. He was the lieutenant governor of North Carolina. He was running for governor. And he was on a porno site called Black something, you know, and he put that stuff about him being a black Nazi. He put that on a porn site for some reason, and this was years ago.
Yeah, he definitely.
So you know, you got these crazy ass people, and then they get paid because they come outside of the box of, you know, what black people really need and really want, and they say these outrageous things, and so then the racists, the racism, the system of racism and white supremacy adopt them.
Exactly.
And then they get money that way.
Oh yeah,
you know,
blow them up, put them all over social media, the regular media, all that, just to try to, you know, use them as a black cloud over, you know, our sunny day. That's exactly what they do.
And then most of them, like this dude from this senator from South Carolina, who was like grinning and, you know, look like the character from I always forget his name, but he's an actual black senator. You got a congressman from Florida. You got all these people. They were shucking and jiving and shuffling and stuff for Trump. And they would say, "Ooh, I know he's gonna make me the secretary of this or the head of that." He ain't give them nothing.
I know that's right. And I'm sorry.
And then the brother from the dude from North Carolina, he lost his election because he was so stupid that even the white people didn't even vote for him. You know, he was just ridiculous. Yeah, so anyway, we got a long way to go. You know, I understand that politics needs to develop, and we need to have a plan that we all can buy into. Yes. Or at least that the majority of us can buy into. We need a strategy.
Yes.
You know, we don't do things strategically. We just do things out of emotion. Mm-hmm. And we throw things out of context. You see what I'm saying? We don't do things in proportionality. We want something to be 100%. You know, in order for us to have liberation, it's not going to be because we did this or because we did that. It's going to be a combination of things that we do that have to come together. But we can't say, well, this is not important and only this is important. We got to say all these things have just like astrology. In astrology, you got 12 houses, right? You don't ignore this house and just focus on that house. You have to get all your houses in order. So politics, culture, spirituality, family, social, all those things have to be in order. People say, I don't like politics. Well, you ain't got to like it, but it's a reality.
Right.
When the police come and, shoot you and, abuse you and all that's politics. So if you want to protect yourself from that, you got to do certain things politically, but you got to do other things socially and economically too. The United States of America, they have something called a foreign policy. So I can say I'm going to move to Africa, but if the foreign policy of the United States is going to have a negative effect upon Africa, it's affecting me over there too. So should I not have at least some semblance of influence on the foreign policy of this country? Should I moderate it to some degree, to whatever degree I can? Or should we just say, oh, let the white man do whatever he wanted, we don't care? It's just stupid. Don't nothing make a difference. Everything is the same. If you see a rabbit and you see a wolf, both of those is animals. But do you say, oh, the rabbit is the same, the rabbit gonna bite me just like the wolf gonna bite me? Just differentiate between one thing and another. So that's what I said. So that's part of what meditation is supposed to be for you to have a discriminating mind, to differentiate between this, that, and the other. And I work with guns and weapons and stuff, right? So if I'm carrying my gun, I have to differentiate what's the threat. I can't just shoot somebody because they step on my shoe, and I can't ignore nobody who hit me in my throat, So I have to respond appropriately to the situation. So I have to recognize the difference between this and that. It's not the same thing. But the lazy way is to say, oh, they all the same. Everything is the same. How are you going to approach one? You approach one way, you approach the other way. All throughout the history of Black people interacting on this continent, sometimes we made sometimes we had to make alliance with we made alliance with Native people against the British, the Spanish, the French. We did all those things. Sometimes we had to make alignments, with one group of Europeans against another group of Europeans, because that was what the situation called for. Not that we liked that group of Europeans. It was just like, okay, they fighting each other. It'd be to our advantage to do this with these ones and then get rid of their ass later. It was all strategy. And so that's what we have to do. We have to have a strategy. We go to Africa, we see that those brothers in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, they form a coalition. They're kicking out the French, they're kicking out the British, they're kicking out the Americans. And then they say on top of it, let's get rid of the goddamn Russians too. So that we don't have to be under the hegemony of nobody. And we're going to create our own stuff. And that's what we have to begin to do. But we have to do things on a strategic level, not no emotional level, and we have to do it on a factual level.
Yes, sir. Yeah, look, we're gonna make it do what it do on the next one call, because like I said, it was about 3 or 4 different topics that came out. I was like, that's a whole nother show, man. We had to do a whole nother show on that one, man. But
Yeah.
the politics and politics, and then it was like 2 other things that came up tonight. I was like, yo, that's a whole nother. We need to do a whole nother episode on that one. But no, I definitely appreciate it, Baba, and I'll definitely be reaching out to you, and I'll get the I'll get all your information. I'll have it on the show description and everything. Once we get it set up and edited and all that for the upload, and yeah, I look forward to doing it again.
Okay, well, thanks, brother. I hope I didn't talk too long because I'm long-winded. But I know you probably have to edit this down into something reasonable.
That's what YouTube is for. Look, they love the more eyes that's on the show and on the channel, the better. Or on any show, any channel, really. They just want the views. So it's like, but we definitely we're here for the impact, and I feel like we definitely did that tonight. So I'm grateful, and I appreciate it for sure.
Okay, brother. Well, thank you very much. And again, come to our website, KemeticYogaSkills.com. And if you don't do nothing else, sign up. You can take our online course where you can really learn the science of what we've been talking about.
Yes, sir.
And or you really want to immerse yourself in a healing process, a healing experience, come to Jamaica.
Sure.
For 10 days. After those 10 days, you're gonna be a different person.
Yes, sir. That's what's up. Yeah, no, I'm gonna holler at you because I would love to see if we'll talk about it off here, but I would love to even if we could put something together online for the people who can't make it, man. Maybe we might be able to do something, in a private, small community where we kind of do something for the tribe.
Yeah, we can work out something,
For sure. That's what's up. Now, I appreciate it, Baba. So I'll definitely be in touch. Tribe, I appreciate all y'all, our normal family, and Kosi, Ifa Sagun, Shakita, everybody. See some new faces, Mika. There's a lot of people who, new people that I've seen and people who've been around for a while. So we appreciate all the love and support from all of y'all family, whether you started today or you've been here from day one. We definitely appreciate you. And so with that, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. We out. Peace.
Hotep.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and pray.